Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about why tarot card messages or maybe certain divination messages don't make sense when we are desperately seeking answers for a certain domain of our life, or when we have been forever hopeless in a particular aspect of our life and we want the answers, but then whatever we get from tarot, and I mostly mean in private readings, but even if the online readings resonate, then great. But why they don't seem to make sense, or they simply end up confusing us more, or we just don't know that what are the cards trying to tell us. Let's understand one thing very clearly. Whenever we are stuck about any particular aspect of our life, it could be career, it could be your relationships, it could be simply your understanding of the worldly ways. What tends to happen is, because we are stuck in a particular cycle, or in our head we feel that things are not moving forward. That is because in that moment we are carrying a very specific outlook and perspective. And many a times when we are desperate for a change, when we have lost all hopes, when we don't know how it is that we move ahead, or why are things not working in our favor, we also tend to get stuck in that particular perspective and outlook. Which means, suppose if you feel that I'm just not able to find a right opportunity, or my boss doesn't appreciate me, or I'm not able to find like the right person. In all these questions that I just said, you could be stuck in a particular mindset. Like when we say we are not able to find the right person, we might be stuck in the belief that, like whoever I meet, they are mostly either looking only for casual relationships, or they are emotionally unavailable, or, they don't meet my mental wavelength. I only end up meeting people like that. And I have tried so many things, and this is exactly what happens. Then when we talk about, I don't see appreciation from my boss, or I'm not finding the right opportunities, there could be a mindset that we are stuck in, right? Like even when we talk about, I'm not getting appreciation from my boss, I would simply ask the question, why are you seeking their validation? If you know that you are doing good work, if you know that it's contributing to your growth, it's making you feel that you're learning something and you're contributing to something, then maybe you need to stop seeking their validation. Similarly, if you're not getting the right opportunity, is there something in your interview approach that you can change? Is there something that you need to change in the profile that you are demanding to be interviewed for? What is the change that you can bring is the question that you need to ask yourself. But it's not easy. It's very easy for me to sit on this side and get that perspective. But trust me, I've been there myself many a times too. So what happens is, we are also stuck in a particular perspective that, like no matter what I do, I'm not appreciated, or I only attract people like this, or only this happens. Now, why we are stuck? That is because we are also carrying certain beliefs, certain notions, certain perceptions, both in regards to that situation and how we are supposed to respond to that situation. Which means if we feel that we are not able to find like the right partner in our life, it also means that how I am as a person is in this situation. Maybe I'm someone who is not willing to invest a lot of time because I'm already tired from my previous experiences which did not work out. I am scared of wasting my effort. It could mean that if I am going to find someone who may seem like a little bit right for me, I'm immediately going to jump to the next phase that I want, and maybe start asking questions which better be reserved for like maybe 6 or 8 months of dating. But I immediately want to know everything because I just want to make sure that they're immediately the right person. It may also mean that you feel that you're making enough efforts, but that efforts could only be limited to dating apps. If you're making enough efforts, why not open other avenues? So it's important to understand that whenever we feel that, tarot cards are not able to make us understand what is it that we need to hear, or the messages are also so confusing. There's nothing confusing in the world, right? Actually, what is confusing is our inability to grasp that message in that moment. Now, that grasping will come from first when we haven't boxed ourselves in our notions and our perceptions, when we are listening with an open mind. Which means if in a reading, And this happens, sometimes I have to tell the people that, I feel you are the problem. And you are the one who's actually contributing to the negativity in this situation. It's very normal for a human to get immediately defensive or be like that. No, not necessarily. Are my feelings not valid? That is not the point of a tarot card reading, okay? These are conversations that are had with friends. Of course, your point is valid. But tarot is showing you the mirror that in this entire situation, maybe it is you who actually needs to change your outlook. Your feelings are valid, but is there a better way of sharing your feelings and reacting to whatever is happening and playing out in your life? So this is something that we need to understand. And this is for any and every situation in your life. And trust me, I've had certain readings, where people have actually fought with me on readings because because they, like if I told them that I don't think your partner is the right partner, I don't think they love you, they would like, no, he really cares for me. No, but then this is also kind of care. No, but then, this, that. So they were really defending their partner because in that moment, that was their definition of love. If overprotectiveness or somebody being a little bit casual and saying that they are busy, maybe that's how they understood love, that this is normal. I'm giving the other person space and time. But then the same people have returned to me after many months, agreeing or sharing the fact that yes, the previous reading was right. And why is that? Because between now to the next many months, few days or few weeks, we all evolve, we all change, right? And that is when something starts making sense. So what that person did not understand in the first reading, it made sense many months later when they were looking to get married to their partner. And that's when their demands changed. They were no longer willing to be, a partner who's always the one who's always understanding, or the partner, who's just making always the extra effort. They wanted everything to be equal. And that is when they understood the previous reading made sense. Alright. So now the takeaway from this video should be that all of us collectively, and trust me, I mean me also in this, we all need to increase our self-awareness. We all need to let go of this mindset that wherever we are, whatever we are already great, or our way of thinking or leading life is great. And sometimes, like if we have a very strong emotion about, no, whatever we are currently, it's fine, and we don't really need to change. It is also a way of wanting to protect ourselves. Because growing up, a lot of us have had inner child issues. We never had people protecting us, or we never felt protected. There was a child in all of us that wanted that somebody else should take a stand for us when as a child we were too weak to protect ourselves. That did not happen. Then multiple such scenarios happened, because of which we learned that we need to protect ourselves. So we had to learn to depend more on our own intuition, on our own understanding of life, and actually parent our own selves, build our own understanding of life. So now suddenly a tarot card reader comes into the picture, or a tarot card comes into the picture and says, hey, whatever you've done up until now is wrong. Of course, you'd be like, no, it's not wrong. It has really worked out for me, and you have no idea how I've managed to bring myself up from situations that were completely ghastly. Yes, but maybe now is the time to evolve. And for that, you don't need any tarot card. You don't need any divination tool. What you need is just self-awareness, and also some more confrontational conversations with yourself. And there's a very thin line between being overtly critical and being critical enough to bring a change. Overtly critical is low confidence. Overtly critical is imposter syndrome. We are never good enough. Overtly critical is, oh, you know what? I don't think I will be able to pursue this. There are better people out there than me. That is overtly being critical about yourself. Good or positive criticism is where if we realize that, hey, we have this pattern where we have become maybe a little bit too particular about the kind of people we want to be seen around with, or we want to date. And that's why sometimes within the first few conversations only we end up asking very uncomfortable questions. or like I don't like being teased because so and so happened maybe in my childhood or in my previous relationship or years ago. So now even if somebody's teasing me playfully, I immediately get very defensive. Same confrontations need to be made at work also. And I just want to say this very practically, like especially like if you're in a job, you need to learn a little bit of manipulation tactics, a little bit of cunningness. It's called being smart or diplomacy. But if you are like an overtly nice person who sees life from a very lens of purity, then yeah, it may seem like manipulation to you, but yes, we need to be diplomatic. So maybe that is simply the lesson there, that just being this good-willed person, just being like doing your basics. I do like a good job, I don't like to like participate in so and so things, I don't want to be a part of this. Maybe you need to change that. Maybe it's about time that you be a little bit diplomatic, you fake interest in things that you don't have to. And this is what life is about. Life is about living, right? So this entire idea that no, everything needs to be done with only particular type of values and ethics works, but then maybe you can sometimes be smart about it just because you have to survive a job. Similarly, when it comes to business, there might be a different outlook or perspective or approach that you need, but you would only be able to get this outlook or approach when you are somebody who knows how to have confrontational chats with themselves. When we don't place the idea of self so high that we are never, just like alone in a room with our own selves, we are never willing to step down from that. Like a strong sense of self is great, but at the same time, if you're not able to confront that and be like, hey, okay, so it's been good 5 years running with like this self of yours, so now let's see what is it that we need to change now. Let's just check that, okay, what has not evolved in the last 5 years? What is it that we need to change? Till the time you're not able to have these very uncomfortable conversations with yourself and then slowly bring them into action, whatever answers come to you, try them out, test them out, then see if they worked, and then again go back and reapproach the situation if it did not work for you. Then no tarot message, no conversations around breaking your pattern, nothing will help. You would always feel stuck in those certain domains or situations in your life. And in a nutshell, this is all what lessons are about, pattern breaking is about, understanding life is about, दुनियादारी जिसको कहते हैं. So till the time you don't understand these things will not change. And if they will not change, then when you come for a reading, you are not somebody who is ready to confront yourself and willingly admit where you also could be going wrong, because it's normal, none of us are perfect. And then if the cards are saying something, you're not able to comprehend that because that capacity yet has not been built, that yes, I can hear something really uncomfortable about myself from someone else. Because see, also last message in this video, in tarot what happens is messages are dumped on you. Like if you sit down today and start having some uncomfortable conversations with yourself, you will not get to know it all in one go, right? You will question something, then you will understand few things, few months later, few days later, new things will happen, then you will revisit, you will understand more. So there is a journey that you go through when you are doing self-confrontation and building that self-awareness. It's same like even if you're sitting with a therapist in their room, the therapist is not dumping anything on you. Slowly over a period of time via your own chats, and you feel like you're chatting with them, but basically they're just making you understand how to chat with yourself better. You are getting to realize these things. But in any divination tool, especially tarot, what happens is it straight away a dump on you. Oh, this could be wrong, this could be wrong, this is not going to happen, this is not going to happen. And it obviously gets overwhelming, right? Now when you come in an overwhelming state for the reading, it becomes even more overwhelming, because you were already maybe a little bit low on self-awareness, or you were not ready to confront yourself so much, and then tarot being tarot has just dumped everything on you, and now you're like, okay, like this is all too much. And some people are able to move past that also because they have a good listening and good confrontational, self-confrontational pattern with themselves. So while they are listening to a reading, they are able to absorb it in the right manner, and then they are able to understand that, okay, yeah, maybe this is what I need to change, and maybe this is what needs to happen. But then many of us are maybe not able to do that. And that is where it becomes so confusing, because we are confused. The cards are dumping so much on us. We are not immediately in a state to listen to it. We have our defense up, our protection walls. And that's where it just feels like that I really don't know what's going to happen next. I'll tell you what's going to happen next. You will stay stuck in that phase. So you don't need tarot, frankly. What you need is just a good self-awareness system in your life. And you need to figure a way of like having chats with yourself which are slightly confrontational, which are uncomfortable, which are also a little bit self-critiquing, so that you can actually pick up cues from that and then see what needs to change. Because first is awareness and acceptance, then comes the action. I hope this helped. Thank you.